Hello and welcome to round 4 of the OOR Sprint Series of Season 6. Now today I'm going to do things slightly differently. I usually script out my whole thing and then I read that and edit that over the video, but today I'm going to kind of do a live commentary over the top as I'm watching it in my editing software right now. So, before we get into things, I'm going to ask you to subscribe if you like what you're seeing so you can see more of it, and definitely hit the like button down there if you do enjoy it. And let me know what you think of this new style. Is it any better? Is it worse? That would be very helpful. And as always, go and follow me over on Twitter to stay up to date with all my latest projects, such as custom liveries, videos, and odd bits and things along the way. So without further ado, let's get straight into qualifying. So I'm going to leave my best qualification lap in here so you guys can look at it, give me some critique, and let me know what I was doing well and what I was doing poorly. And I figured that this camera shot here would probably be the best of both worlds, so you can see where my car's placed at, and you can also see the HUD and all those things as we go through the lap. And there's one thing I'm going to point out pretty soon. I believe it's in the cutting here, so I'll see you there. So coming through this section here, you'll see I'm unable to nail this corner, and I was able to do it before quali and during all my practice sessions once I finally got the hang of it. Now, for some reason, in quali and in the race, I couldn't nail it once. Maybe I did on 2 of my fastest laps during the race, but I can't figure out why I couldn't nail that corner. And if someone knows why, what I'm getting wrong there, please let me know in the comments section down below. So my quali lap all done and dusted. It's time for the race start, and I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't surprised from where I started, because I thought I would start a little bit further up the order, but you know, it is what it is. And the lights go out there on the final corner, and it catches me in a bad spot there because I'm right on the freaking apex of the corner and the Jag's right there. But you know, bad start aside, I regathered everything and just tried to avoid incidents coming into turn 1. And I took it very easy, and unfortunately, because of that, the Jag sneaks by as well. So now both Jags are in front of me there, and it's on to turn 2. But I was very happy with the fact that there were no incidents, but that I wasn't involved in one. You know, I was able to avoid things and get through there. Coming to the cutting here is when the first incident strikes. Coming in here, I'm not sure what happens up ahead, but the cars just kind of bunch up, and I see a moment here. Cars all nice and wide, so I sneak through the 2 of them, gain 2 positions. Don't know what's happening with the NSX there, and I nab those 2 spots as well. So very opportunistic of me there, but all's fair there. I don't think I did anything bad. Coming down the end here in lap 1, I don't know what the Bentley's doing. He just decides to go off. The Jaguar appears out of nowhere and almost takes out the BMW or the Porsche ahead of me, and we are through. And the Jaguars were a bit, shall we say, aggressive. I don't know what they were doing. They're a bit unpredictable. But then here on lap 2, ouch. Yep. I make the biggest mistake ever. I did not even intend to try and make a move on him. I got the braking wrong, and the next thing I knew, I was next to him. Taking a look at it in slow motion now. You can just see I try and get out the way there, slowing down, but unfortunately I get it wrong. And I'm very sorry to the Porsche driver there. We've actually spoken over Discord about the incident, but I was gutted. A few laps later, I was able to regather myself, and I'd actually caught back up to the 2 Jaguars ahead of me. One of them goes wide there in the final corner, get a bit of a run on him here on the start finish straight, and I try and squeeze him as wide or to far to the right as possible to get a run on him into turn 1. And I was able to get a bit of a run here, and he runs wide, and that was probably the thing that gave me the edge on him coming up the straight here. And the Lamborghini joins the fight, and that got me very nervous. Well, obviously I already had the incident here, and I know that's a pretty hot spot for incidents, but luckily we managed to form a nice neat line and get through here pretty easy, so that was a relief. Coming down the back straight here, I guess, again, we're going to have a similar incident. The Jaguar just heads off, and I take it very easy because of the speed he was carrying there. I couldn't see him once he got off to the left, and I was afraid he might T-bone me as I took that corner, but luckily we got through there safely. And again, I got caught up behind the pack, and the Jaguar's just going to come in here and give me a little bit of a tap coming down here right about there, and we go down there. I just thought I'd include that bit there of action. As you can see here, this train had formed pretty nice here. And at this point, my drive-through penalty came through for the incident with the Porsche. I had assumed by this time they reviewed it, and well, the penalty just came through. I couldn't get past the train, so I figured I'd take my penalty and hopefully get some clean area to run through here without any disturbance of other cars, maybe make up some time. And pretty soon after, I lose the car there. As I said, I was having trouble with the car in that corner, and I have no idea why I lost it. I can't pinpoint it, so if anyone knows why, that would be super handy. I know I've taken a bit of damage, so it might be due to that. That's the only thing that I can pinpoint it onto. Other than that, I have no clue. A couple laps later, this happens. Again, I have no idea why. I've taken that corner pretty similarly to that many times, and that has never happened. I'm usually able to get through it. I'm just going to play it in slow motion. Maybe someone can pick something up. I have no idea where the back end just went on me, and on both occasions it felt pretty similar. It's just like the back end just decided to go on a holiday. Bearing in mind that by now my car had been pretty smashed, I came through here again a few laps later, and a similar thing, it just went. I can't explain it, and I'm just putting these clips in here because maybe someone will be able to explain to me why this has happened, because I can't explain it. I've looked at them several times and it baffles me. And again, yes, the car was damaged. I come through here, we're cutting, and yep, I just can't get it to slow down, doesn't want to turn, and I almost hit the wall again, but I got through there. So yeah, this has been my race. You can see why I've yeah, it's pretty much a downer. And then at the end of lap 17, I decided to finally come into the pits. I watched the DTM race a while back, race 2 at Monza, and some cars, I think it was race 2, they extended their pit stop way long into the race. They almost went to the end, I think with about 15 minutes to go. Some of them came in, pitted, and actually got a few positions. So that was the plan after the incident with the Porsche. But then I spun 3 times after that, or twice, and then almost had a collision the 3rd time. And I think that really put the nail in the coffin for me with this race, with trying to make up any sort of position, because that slowed me right down. I got lapped because of it. But that was the plan, but I continued to do it anyways. I stretched it out, try to get my car as light as possible for the final stint, maybe make up a position or 2. I had no idea how many guys were 2 laps down, or, you know, in my area that I could compete with. So I got out and things were looking pretty good. I started putting in some pace, and I'm going to leave you guys with this clip just for a second here. I caught up to this NSX. Now this guy's 2 laps ahead of me, but I caught him on the mountain, and I'm pretty happy with the way I handled this situation. As you can see here, I've got a fair bit of pace, but I have to sit behind him. There's no way around. So at this point, I'd also noticed in the laps leading up that I had a lot of pace here compared to him. And it was around about these few corners that I made the call to just stick behind him, because you're hardly ever going to pass on the mountain. So I figured just stick behind him and stay close. He was a little bit offline in some places, so I couldn't really rely on his line to try and even make a pass, I don't think. And I was able to just stick with him pretty nicely. You know, being aggressive at this point here is not going to really get you position, so I think I made a really good call here. Coming to the end of the run here on the mountain, I figured I got to close the gap. I was just slightly unable to do it. It was a bit hard there because I was going to try and get a run on him down the straight here. And the call actually comes through from the stewards saying that car 77, that's me, can unlap himself. I didn't put in the request to unlap, so I don't know where that came from, but thank you very much for that. Yeah, I thought I'd let you experience that the same way that I did. That was pretty sudden. And as you can see, my car is now smashed up. And we're going to have a few more looks at that. So here we are on board with the Audi, and in spectacular fashion, he's going to make the mistake we've all done here at Bathurst. Eats the grass and just spins, but I've never had such a big crash there. It's quite spectacular. Going past the 7U sign, I've never gone that far from a crash there, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. But anyway, taking a slightly different look at this incident, and this is the bit that really got me about it. So I didn't see any of this. So he spins off, and he's gonna put it right there, which is very nice of him. Now, there's when the call goes out. I see him, and yep, he starts to creep forward, and because of that, we smash in spectacular fashion. He just goes straight off. So I'm gonna talk you through this just for a bit. Coming around the corner there, and I can't see anything. The call comes out, there's a car that's spun, and I start to try and look for anything to tell me where this car is, because I don't want to slow down too much. And about there, I can see just about a line of pixels. That's the roof of the Audi. And I figure I can pass him on the right, because he's all the way on the left. And I start to make a general move to the left, as you do here, you know, getting ready to go through the chicanes. And here I'm starting to move in, I'm adjusting my line more than I normally would. And you can just see him starting creeping forward, and I wish you could see my face when this happened live, because it was Paul Ricard flashbacks. At the moment I saw that car creeping forward, Paul Ricard came straight back into my mind. I kid you not. It was very annoying. Had he stayed still, I'm once again 99% sure I would have gotten through there. Maybe we would have scraped, but yeah. Just watching this on board from a different view, I want you to see what happened to my steering as we went through here. So there's the smash. And I try to gather it. It doesn't want to go. I'm not sure what's going on. Smash the wall. It's all really quick. And as you see me on the straight here, my steering is at a 90-degree angle. It is messed up. And I have to make the call. Do I go in to the pits to get repairs? And I notice there's not enough time. I'm going to DNF. So I make the call and stay out for the final 1.5 laps. And I'm going to leave you with a few clips of that in the background here. It was a mess. But I got round and held on to 28th, because that's where I was before the incident, and I somehow managed to do that. I just stayed out of trouble and tried to finish the race, which I did in the end, which I'm pretty happy about. But as always, I leave us with some final closing thoughts. Now, I'm very upset about the race, not because I hit the Audi, mainly because I hit the Porsche. From there, everything went south. My race started falling apart from there. And once the second pit stop, or yeah, my first pit stop, after the drive-through, when I went through there, I gathered myself a little bit, and everything was going pretty well until I hit the Audi. The final stint went really well, and I'd say the first lap went really well. But that's that. And then I started thinking to myself, you know, hey, before this race started, you can only do a 206 around here. Before you went into quali, you brought that down to a 204, which, I mean, that is pretty good laps. We're now getting into pretty good territory for lap time. And in quali, I managed the 203, and it was a fairly sloppy run. I hit the wall in that very fast run, and I couldn't get the cutting right. And I've always had trouble going down the mountain to keep all the pace. So those are the three big areas that I lost time at, but it was a 203. That's a pretty good improvement. And during the race, when I wasn't spinning or hitting Porsches or trying to drive straight through Audis, I was putting in 204s. and that's a very big improvement. And the decision making with the NSX was spot on. The guy was lapped. I had no business really fighting him, and so holding back was the right call. I don't think you can really fault me on that. And I think that's the positive that I need to go out with here. Every race isn't going to go your way. Every race isn't going to be a clean race. Yes, I made mistakes. Things happen. But at the end of the day, I am improving. I need to look at that and take that, you know? It's pretty easy just to go, oh, the race was rubbish, and never look at it again. And that's one of the reasons I make these videos, is for me to review my own races. It's a way to force me to do that. I think in this case, same as with Paul Ricard, it was a really eye-opening experience to do that, and it does help. Because it's so easy to get caught up in all the negative. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to leave it for today. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you've made it to this point, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Until next time, cheers.